Welcome back. The Bihar election, a peak of its excitement right now. The MGB trailing still. They've been in that position now for almost a couple of hours now, even though most of the spokespersons that have come in from the Congress or the RJD seem to believe that they can still expect a bit of a turnaround. But the big story currently is that unlike most of the exit polls prediction, the NDA seems to be doing much better. In fact, they're still ahead of the halfway mark that you have in the assembly of 243. And the big question that most of you and a lot of our viewers would have is, where is this gain exactly coming from and how have they performed over regions? Aarti Subramaniam is standing by to help us understand where exactly is this NDA lead coming from and where is it that the MGB hasn't done well, much against a lot of the predictions that have been made by the exit poll that were conducted a couple of days ago. Aarti?
Vinay, they're not gloating just yet. They're still cautious. Both camps are. But let's just look at the overall number and try to deep dive into certain regions to see where these numbers are coming from. We'll go across all the regions. But this, of course, is the overall numbers. As of now, it is the BJP and the JDU, that is the Mahagathbandhan, which is trailing well behind the NDA. Let's go a little deeper into the specific regions. We'll start with Bhojpur. Large parts of Bhojpur did go to polls also in the first phase. It is this particular area. In this, the RJD is doing reasonably well. It is this particular area that is giving the Mahagathbandhan considerable numbers, so to speak. Let's go to another region. After Bhojpur, we'll move our focus to Magad. Another part, this is the lower part of Bihar here. Again, it is in this area that the RJD has been able to hold fort. In Bhojpur and Magad is where the RJD has been able to hold fort. Let's look at Anga now in this particular region. The picture is a little more even, Stevens, between the two. You have the RJD and the Congress each contributing 7 seats. Over there you have the BJP and the JDU with 17. So slightly, it's at least as far as the Mahagathbandhan is concerned, a subpar performance in this particular area compared to the others. The more important areas are of Tirut and Simanchal. We'll first start off with Mithila though. Mithila is another area where the NDA has taken a complete lead. They've stolen the march ahead of the Mahagathbandhan. It's this particular area, as you can see from the map. They've done very well in this area. And as we go further towards, and this is also, if you see the map, this is how also Bihar has been voting in 3 different phases. As you go further up north and towards the east, the performance of the BJP and the NDA keeps improving. After Mithila, the last 2 areas are Tirut and Simanchal. Tirut is one particular area where the BJP has done really well. It is in this area that, as a whole, the NDA has done very well. The Mahagathbandhan not as well as they would have liked to, but the biggest disappointment for the Mahagathbandhan undoubtedly has been Simanchal, and I'm sure this is the area which is going to be, a lot of pundits are going to be focusing maximum on Simanchal. This was the area that was considered to be the stronghold of the RJD, but as you can see, it's almost a saffron sweep in this area. It's a strong area where even the AIMIM, the RLSP, the BSP were in play, and they appear to have actually spoiled the party a bit for the RJD, because their fortress has crumbled to the saffron wave in this area.
Thank you, Aarti, for that. Very clear that there are only really 2 regions where the MGB seem to be doing all right, if not, as per their expectations. But the rest of the regions and the classifications that we showed you just now, the NDA seems to have done much better than what a lot of people expected. Let me go back to Pankudi Pathak. I think she's still with us. Pankudi, I think, just a short while back, you were hoping and expecting that the things may turn around. But truth be told, that figure isn't really changing much. I mean, there is only really a change of 2 or 3 seats here or there. But the larger trend and pattern of the NDA being ahead, comfortably ahead of the halfway mark, still holds true. At least now, do you believe that there was a bit of a euphoria that you or your alliance got carried away with? I mean, you know and I know and everyone knows that the size of rallies in Bihar is never really an indicator of a popularity of a leader in the sense of actual votes going for the person. Do you think the MGB slightly got carried away by the crowds that were there at Tejasvi and thought that they had actually won the game?
No, well, absolutely not. I think we had our ears to the ground. We are still confident that what we saw during the electoral process and what the kind of reactions that we got from the public. I mean, there was a lot of truth to it, and we never, claimed anything extraordinary. But yes, we still do believe that we are going to do better than what is being projected right now. And in case the projections, as they hold as of now, if they turn into the actual result, then we'll obviously have to, look into how we can deal with religious polarization better in the coming elections. But we are still confident. I mean, we whatever the media, whatever the polls might have shown, that was their own assessment. We said we'll form the government. We still think so. When I came on this show, we were, somewhere in the 90s. Now again, we have crossed the 100 mark, and I think things are still going to change. I mean, it is still early. We are not even, past the 20% count. So
Right.
Still a lot of things can change, and we are hopeful. We have not given up. We knew what we were dealing with, and I think we have been very vigilant in the way we fought these elections, and we heard what the people wanted to say. We raised their issues, and I am actually very proud of the way we fought these elections.
Fair enough.
I mean,
Fair
we
enough.
could have done what the BJP did, but we focused on the real issues of Bihar.
Fair-
and
fair-
if that doesn't work, then obviously we need to introspect. But as of now, like I said earlier, it's very early to go into a detailed analysis. We'll do that in case the results are not in our favor.
No,
but
fair
we
enough.
are still very here.
Fair enough.
Yeah,
Fair
we are
enough.
hopeful.
Fair enough, Pankudi. Let me just spend a couple of minutes, Ranji, just to pick your brains on one very specific thing. However much the Congress may try and defend itself and also use words like introspection, which frankly I've been hearing from 2014 onwards, since the A.K. Antony report came out, which no one has read, to be honest. But the fact of the matter is that they use the word introspection. My question is very simple. In the late 60s and the 70s, the entire genesis of Janta Parivar was anti-Congressism. There was nothing else. They weren't bringing anything positive to the table in the sense of telling us where they stand. Their idea was it's an anti-Indira camp.
Right.
The Congress is now making the same mistake. Their entire politics is about being anti-Modi. People don't really know what they stand for. And I think that there is some amount of shift in people where they also want to know that, all right, you don't like Modi, that's fine. But what is it that you stand for? And they don't quite know.
Yeah, it's not just a question of, anti-Congressism becoming, being replaced by anti-BJPism. It's also this period has been, we have also witnessed a fundamental paradigm shift in the thinking of people on many issues which we would not want to recognize. For instance, this entire idea of a strong leader, I think it resonates. And it resonates, there have been instances in the past when the strong leader worked. I was growing up, beginning to just understand a bit of politics towards the end of school during the emergency period. At that point, the class that I came from, an upper middle class kind of a background in a university campus, it resonated with this unstated sentiment that Danda Raj is good for India. This democracy is very, nuisance value. It's these riff-raff elements who does that. I think, not saying it so directly, but I think the idea of a strong leader is equal to a leader who has possibly authoritarian tendencies, who has slightly lesser commitment to the democratic quotient compared to the others. Let's not have any qualms about the fact this regime has a lesser commitment to the democratic quotient of the country. Whether it's good for the country or bad for the country is a different thing. But there is greater acceptance of this than before. Opposition parties, be it the Congress or the others, are still caught in the mold of trying to remind people of what is not there. So I think these are fundamental things which need to be recognized, and only then would they be able to come out with something to be present an alternative to the Modi and the BJP. Tejasvi Yadav has it. I'd said earlier in the program that even whatever, irrespective of the result, he is a leader who needs to be watched whether he is able to understand from the lessons that he learns through this campaign, whether it ends in victory or for loss is...
Right. Tohir, I know you wanted to say something. I'm really sorry. I just need to take a quick break because before we get into the next wheel at 1 o'clock. So just a quick break and we'll be right back. Just stay with us. Keep watching Mirror Now.